I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap that like she scored 30.
We talking about sports. I mean, what we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.
All right, welcome back to We Talking About Sports, episode number 27.
What up, what
Good to
up?
be back last week, and we're back again with another one. Y'all tell me about y'all's week. How'd it go?
Go ahead, Ben.
It was good. It was what, Thanksgiving hangover week, or am I a week behind?
You're a week, maybe 2 weeks behind.
I'm 2 weeks behind. Shit. I don't know, bro. It was cool. Soccer throughout the week. NBA's getting ready to come back tomorrow. I've just been Twitter's been crazy with the whole being a Rockets fan. Is the roller coaster started a while ago already for the NBA season. Before preseason even started. So I've been consumed with that and just work. You know, I'm pumped for this UFC fight this weekend. Pretty much this week has just been counting down to Friday, bro. And we're finally here. Tomorrow's Friday. So I'm pumped to be here, pumped for these fights, pumped for what's going on in the NFL, NBA, ready to talk about it.
Yeah, same here, man. Good week for me. A lot of like my, fantasy football stuff is I've kind of been dead in the water, since a couple of weeks ago. It's probably the worst fantasy football year I've had in a while. So
blame it on COVID.
Football's, I'm blaming it on COVID for sure. Football, the only reason why I've been watching is, like a bet that I have here or there. But college basketball has been in full swing. So that's been something that's keeping me going every night up until the last games. I love betting on those West Coast nightcaps. Some of my favorite games to bet on. Sometimes it's just a bet because I like to watch those games late at night. But it's been fun. And as Ben said, Champions League's getting going. The NFL, we just lost our last undefeated team, the Steelers. They lost this past week. I mean, they've been through the ringer kind of with the schedule stuff. We'll maybe touch on a little bit later with NFL. But yeah, man, just glad to be back. Glad to be here for a second week in a row. And as Ben also talked about, the NBA is heating up right now as we get closer to that December 22nd start, and preseason starts tomorrow with the Clippers and the Lakers. So yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Had a good week myself. As far as Champions League, we had an incident come up. I know one of the podcast listeners, Diego, wants us to talk about Champions League. And we're going to have a little portion dedicated next week just to Champions League and the situation as far as who's playing who and what we expect. So
we should talk about that incident somewhere later on in the episode, though. At least that one incident with that PSG game.
Well, we can talk about it right now since it's not a topic. So what happened was the fourth ref, and that's the official who holds the time clock.
And he subs players in.
Subs players in and out, puts the numbers up. He had an exchange with a player of color, and the player of color did not like the way he was being addressed, and they tried to talk it out with the official first. A lot of people say, how come they didn't talk it out? How come they didn't talk it out? They talked about it for 20 minutes, and they couldn't get through the official. Both teams, he said, you know what? We're going to just play it another day. They walked off the field and made sure that your Champions League handled it correctly. And I don't know if you even saw, but up until the point of the Instagram of the ref, the social media of the ref, all that got hacked.
Oh, wow.
People were up in arms about what he was doing.
The ref, do you know his name, Justin? Where was he from? What's his ethnicity?
I don't have his ethnicity, his origin, or anything like that.
No, I'm just saying because as soon as I heard what the allegation was of the word that was used, which in our Mexican culture, it would be like the color black. You say negro. That's the color, right? Obviously, I don't know. That's why I'm asking where this ref was from, because that was the word used. If it's a person of different ethnicity saying it, it's just completely different. It's different in different ethnicities, and soccer's a sport that a lot of ethnicities like bind into soccer. You have people playing from all over the world especially in the Champions League, bro. It's teams from all these leagues. The officials are the same. So I don't know what the mix-up was. I know that an investigation has been like started onto this after the game was postponed and then played the following day.
Yeah, this guy's Romanian.
Okay, Romanian.
Sebastian Coltasu or whatever his name is. And I agree with you in terms of our culture and the use of that word that he was accused of using, but I still think it comes down to the way he used it. The way and the tone in which he used it in terms.
Oh, there's a video with context and all that.
Well, I don't know that there is. I'm just commenting as far as how I would determine whether or not this was a bad thing or not. I want to see kind of how he used it, because to your point, Ben, that's a word that I've kind of heard used in our culture before, and not.
Were you about to say you kind of used it?
No, I don't.
Bro, talking to my grandma, you say, "Oh, el carro negro," like you say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a color.
About.
That's a color in the Crayola box.
That's what I'm talking about.
Spanish, you know what I mean?
And of course the there's no derogatory use when we're talking about it in that sense. Right. So that's why I'm interested to see how this referee used it. And again, I didn't watch the game. I just know that it was the 14th minute that this happened, right? So it didn't get too far into the game. So I'm okay with them walking off and not coming back. I think it'll be fine, and there won't be any I guess integrity of the game ruined or whatever.
And it got replayed. I mean, they played it the following day, obviously with a whole new refereeing crew as well. A whole new set of officials refereed the game. But like I said, there's an investigation going into that now, and let's hope it gets sorted out. Hopefully it's just a mix-up, because you don't want to see another racist person in the world. So hopefully it gets resolved.
Not that level, you don't want to see.
Especially in a sport like that, in a Champions League, where you got people of all nationalities on the field at all times. So and a lot of these referees are well versed in multiple different languages.
They have to be.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful sport when you bring together that many people. So hopefully it's nothing like that.
Right.
All right, moving on to what's the hot topic right now, NBA.
It's heating up.
It's heating up, and it's already going to be tomorrow. Preseason. We're already going to get preseason games already.
Yeah.
Dang, Justin, you didn't even get to enjoy your championship. You didn't get a full championship off season.
It was, with these pandemic championships, it's just short season,
Back to the grind. Back to the grind, right?
Hey, there was only one type of parade going around over there, and it wasn't a Laker parade.
I know there's supposed to be something going on as far as Dodgers and Lakers eventually, so we'll see what happens there.
Tomorrow's the debut of Christian Wood with the Rockets, bro. That's what tomorrow is. Rockets are on NBA TV tomorrow. I'm pumped about that.
You gonna be watching?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to a dinner tomorrow for a buddy's birthday at 8:30, so I'll definitely be pre-gaming, watching the tip-off of that game. Nice. Hopefully, by the time we head out, it'll be halftime. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how much the starters will play and all that, but I'm just so many new faces, man. I want to see Boogie. I want to see if he can get up off the ground, be a little explosive. How him and John Wall. All I've heard is good things about John Wall, and it's easy to convince me, baby. It's easy to convince me, so I'm already buying into it. I'm just eager for tomorrow, man.
John Wall and Boogie will be playing tomorrow?
Yeah, everybody's going to be playing tomorrow.
You know who probably won't be playing tomorrow?
James Harden won't be playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
6 tests. You got to pass 6 tests before you get it ready.
Yeah, so he showed up. Since our last podcast, he did report.
Yeah.
He did report, but
no more
news
videos.
come out, so.
No more
What's that news, Roland? I heard Shams had something to say.
Yeah, Shams dropped a little bomb. It looks like he's adding teams to his list of preferred trade destinations. I think the first one that came out, which is, I guess, not so surprising because he's got ties to Daryl Morey over in Philadelphia, but there was talks of him wanting to go to the Sixers a couple of weeks ago, and now he's since added, I think, Miami and Milwaukee, which is kind of surprising to me that he would add Milwaukee to the mix, considering the beef that him and Giannis have supposedly had. But
I think that there's something to that, Roland, and we're going to get into that.
And it looks like James Harden, though, wants to be a part of a winning organization. He wants a chance to compete for a championship. So with that said, I got to give him the kudos, man. I got to give him the kudos. I mean, he wants to leave the the franchise that's only won 2 titles thanks to Michael Jordan retiring, and he wants to go to a real winning tradition. So
like the Bucks, yeah, like the Bucks. A winning tradition like the Bucks.
Well, a contender. Let's just say contender better than winning tradition.
Imagine the Bucks
or the Sixers. The Sixers.
Imagine the Bucks doing.
So let's break it down. Let's just go through the teams that are on the list. Okay, let's start. So we'll start with the Nets. The Nets
will go there.
So James Harden's mom is his agent,
pretty much
his advisor, and she's getting into it on Instagram with commenters. Obviously, these people are taking it into her personal Instagram comments, and she's responding to them in there on just random pictures. But the Nets don't have it, right? They don't have the package because that one probably would have happened already. Even if getting a third team involved, whatever.
Maybe something else, and that's still not enough for Harden.
And it came out saying they either needed Kyrie or KD in the deal if they were getting Harden.
And I don't even think the Bucks have enough firepower because they just traded everything to get Drew Holiday.
They could have given all of that up for Harden instead of Drew Holiday, fam.
Pretty much, but I think the Sixers still make some sense. I think the Sixers have a piece or two that they can play with.
Let's go in order, Roland. Let's eliminate teams.
Yeah.
So the Nets are out. Milwaukee's out. The 76ers have ties to Morey, like you mentioned, and the other team is the Miami Heat, which have a lot of assets.
Yep.
They're probably the team with the most assets.
The Heat is the only one that can do it with an asset.
Now, why did James Harden add more teams? Obviously,
he wants to bounce.
But also, is this giving the Rockets some leverage now, where it's not just the Brooklyn Nets? Now, It's literally all these top contenders and it's only the East.
He's trying to make a way out of the West, I think, because the West is tough, man. It's a ringer in the West, and he's the guy that's been asked to carry the load. And again, I think a lot of people like to hate on James Harden for kind of flailing out in the playoffs, but man, if you're asked to his usage rate is uncomparable. You can't compare his usage rate, and then you ask him to do that 82 games and then the playoffs. It wears on your body, and he's only getting older. So I don't think it's a sign of weakness him going to the East. He's trying to play his cards right, man.
But you got a whole new coaching staff that wants to switch it up. At least give it a chance. And we might get into that as soon as we debunk all of these trade rumors. So now we'll go back to Philly, like you said. Here's the thing. Fertitta already feels salty. Daryl Morey left because he said he wanted to spend more time with family. Scotch-free, still had 2 more years left on his deal. What came to light this week because of Mark Stein on Twitter was that the thing is, Daryl Morey started talking to Harden about the contract extension. That $50 million that they just offered him maybe 2 months ago or a month ago, Morey started talking to him about that. Him and Harden were super close. Obviously, Daryl Morey was a yes man to James Harden. Yep, that's the way it's been for the Rockets, pretty much. Knew that he wanted out. Daryl Morey bounced before Harden said it. So Daryl Morey already knew the writing on the wall. He knew that James Harden didn't want to be a Rocket, maybe not so drastically as to demand a trade immediately, but he didn't want the extension. Morey already knew he didn't want the extension. So the writing was on the wall. So does Fertitta trade him to Daryl Morey now, who finessed the fuck out of the Rockets, if we're being honest?
Probably not. But then it comes down to like, where can he get the most bang for his buck for James Harden? Because I think ultimately, regardless of his relationship or lack thereof with Morey, I think it still comes down to the haul.
But does Morey says that Ben Simmons isn't even on the table? Like, you don't even get a seat at the table if Ben Simmons isn't on the table, bro.
That's where that trade stops for me.
Is Morey capping, or is he being honest?
I mean,
at least want to see it play out.
He's dropping his anchor a little bit, but I think also the more the Rockets lose leverage the more into the season they go. The closer James Harden gets to. Well, how much longer does James Harden have left on his contract? I don't have it pulled up on spot.
2 years before a player option.
Okay. Well,
there's time, bro. There's time.
And the Rockets brass, they've been pretty straightforward about saying that they're gonna get the haul that they want, and they're willing to make things uncomfortable on the player. You have a contract, you got to adhere to it. So that's why James Harden.
Russ. It can't be that uncomfortable. Russ is gone at least.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, James Harden, he's still. obviously does not want to be there unless he's playing smoke and mirrors. He still doesn't want to be there at this point in time.
And getting to the last team, so if Ben Simmons isn't on the table, I mean, it's not even a conversation with the 76ers. What the offer would have to be, it's been said Ben Simmons, Thibault, and a pick for Harden. I don't think that it'd be just straight up Ben Simmons for Harden without any picks involved, or at least Thibault. And the last team is the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have young assets. Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo just got signed to a new contract, although he is young, and Duncan Robinson as well. Kendrick Nunn at point guard. They got young guys, but the Heat now, Tyler Hero's not on the table. What's up with these fucking teams, bro? Like, what? Bill O'Brien to be fucking trading for the Houston Rockets?
Tyler Hero, he's a young player, so hasn't even broken into the second year of his career yet. So,
but if you're the Miami Heat, aren't you win now? You were just in the finals. You don't think that James Harden gives you a better chance up against LeBron and those guys with Jimmy Butler?
Probably, but I think you're also talking about longevity too. You don't want to blow everything up just for a year or two.
Three more years, bro. I mean, Harden has 3 more years.
I think Adebayo is definitely in play. He's going to be attractive to the Rockets because he does have that long-term contract.
But we just paid Christian Wood.
I don't think
you're a starting center. Boogie's on the 1-year deal, so I won't put much weight on that. I don't think you play Christian Wood at the 4 and Bam at the 5. I mean, you'd be super long.
It's a new age NBA.
I just think that it has to be Tyler Hero because you need that guard. You need that.
And I'm sure that they have draft capital as well. The Heat, I'd imagine. But
Tyler Hero has to be on the table, Roland.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to be there. They're playing hardball right now. I don't think they're going to say, "Hey guys, you guys can come and have what you want right away." I think they're playing a little bit of hardball. I think they do, like you said, they have the assets to get the job done. But I do think Harrow's going to end up being a part of that deal. I don't see how they get it done without doing so.
Justin was mentioning Hero, Robinson, and some picks.
A pick,
which really isn't that bad for the Rockets either. I think Hero can average 20 a night in the league. I think Hero's going to be averaging 20 a night eventually, if not this coming year as a starter. Whenever he becomes a starter, I think that Hero can give you 20 a night.
I think what it was, honestly, is just a little hardball by saying Hero's not available just because if they have to throw it in, they can feel like the Rockets feel like, hey, we got Hero, and they were willing to throw him in the whole time. I think it's just a little sweetener for them.
It's Hero not being on the table and Ben Simmons not being on the table for fucking James Harden it's stupidity, bro. I mean, you're not really playing hardball because how are you even going to be taken serious when you're not even offering those guys? Philly's not going to give you Embiid, but
you just got to understand is how does Houston feel about Harden? Do they really want to deal him? Or are they really okay with being uncovered?
He's been there for 8 years, and he's got at least 2 more years guaranteed before he can opt out.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit on the Heat. They don't necessarily have the draft capital. It's probably going to have to be the players for the Heat to get the job done.
Yeah.
Harrell has to go. I don't think they're trading Bam or Jimmy. But it's going to have to be Harrow, maybe Kendrick Nunn in there with some Duncan Robinson. Yeah, that's going to have to be it.
Everybody's happy.
Harrow has to be there.
I would like that as a Rockets fan, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're trading for James Harden at this point, it's kind of a package deal. You're kind of getting a little baby too.
No, you're getting PJ Tucker with it.
You're getting a little baby too.
Little baby. I heard you got a little bag from him, about $300K worth.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody.
Richard Mille watch as well.
Seen a gift like that. I don't
know what Richard Mille is, bro.
It's the one that Odell was wearing when he was playing football last year.
Harden's down with the culture, I guess, right? Harden's all about the rap scene. I mean, he's shown up in music videos before. Travis Scott, and I think he came out in a little baby video recently too. And he's been hanging around with him. I don't think it's necessarily a bad look. I just think James Harden's just chilling right now. I don't think he has any intention or had any intention really of showing up for early training camp, considering the short off season.
He's about to be locked down again. It's going to be a Corona season. They're saying players aren't going to have that much flexibility.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's getting it out of his system right now.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with I've just been down with if he doesn't miss a game to start the season, I'm cool because he's going to come in and drop 30. It doesn't matter what he was doing the night before. He's going to come in the gym and drop 30. So I think closer to the trade deadline, though, I think that there will be more action. some of these teams who are contending, maybe the Heat have a decent record in the East, and James Harden is averaging. I'm not even saying 30 plus because I don't know what he's going to look like in the new offense, but I think that James Harden's going to ball because he's a baller. Because he's a baller. He's
James Harden
play.
in the Miami scene. Oh man, that'd be a movie over there. Club Live, James Harden, little baby every night.
They're saying Pat Riley would hold him down though. They're saying Pat Riley would get him right.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just excited to see what happens if he ends up in Miami. A, from the team perspective, because I think that's a team that could do some damage. Him, Jimmy Butler, and Bam as your big three, possibly. That'd be pretty nice. The only thing is, that's the only thing.
Let's do some
Miami is
predictions.
The cap, and they don't have the picks to get it done, so it has to be Harrow.
Predictions. Does Harden end the season with the Rockets, or where does he get traded to? All right,
I say he's going to end up. I'm going Miami. Yeah, I'm going Miami.
Odds came out today also, and Miami Heat was the favorite at plus 180. They had the best odds to land James Harden.
But who knows? Maybe he does start the season with the Rockets, and he likes playing with John Wall. Who knows?
That's at least give him a chance. That's what everybody's saying. It's a brand new coach. I mean, Boogie's there. John Wall supposedly had already talked to him, and that's why they wanted to come over here. So they're at least gonna make him give it a chance, bro. The Rockets are not in a rush.
Dark horse team hasn't been mentioned yet. Atlanta Hawks, man. You watch the show, little baby, man. I'm telling you, I haven't seen a picture of James Harden without little baby in the past month.
The Hawks have been very active though in free agency. The Hawks have been super active.
What's up with that little baby thing? Are they like just best friends now?
Yeah, they're boys, man. They're boys. Obviously, he's like I said, he's shown up in some music videos, take some Instagram photos together, usually with probably like an HD camera or something. But they just look like they're friends. They just look like they're friends. I don't know. That's why I said Atlanta Hawks.
Who fucking cares?
Atlanta Hawks. You gotta think about it. He might end up there.
Is he gonna do a rap album himself,
for Trae Young?
Is that what's gonna happen? Is he do a rap album for himself, or what's going on?
I honestly think that might be in the works. Maybe that's why.
I thought he was gonna do a soul album.
A Lil Baby Harden collab album.
Shit, probably go number one.
Watch out, watch the throne, right?
I remember that soul album he was about to do.
No,
who? James Harden?
Let me play it for you.
James, please don't do this.
I just had the best year of my career. I gotta keep things fresh.
Well, then let's just go to Foot Locker. They got all the fresh new gear.
But I have real talent.
Can I get playback? Okay.
I wear my shirt open so you see my chest, girl. I work so hard into.
Is that me?
Some pipes.
Damn, that just sounded like Usher. Like Usher. Hey, fuck Steph Curry, all right?
Little R&B album. I like that.
You should have cut the Steph Curry part out. Oladipo's an R&B artist, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He has a real soul album.
Yeah. He's got the panty droppers.
I saw him on a TV show once where they covered his head and they made you guess who the artist was, and eventually they got to it, and it was
The Masked Singer, cuz?
I don't watch the show religiously, bro. I don't know the name.
I just saw it one day. Nah, Justin, come on, bro.
It's not my show, cuz.
When Gronk was in there, everybody knew the name of the show because Gronk was on there.
I didn't know Gronk was on there.
Antonio Brown was on there too.
Just to do the name.
Hey, but so 1-2 punches though. We just spoke about a 1-2 punch with Lil Baby and James Harden. Hey,
Bring it up, Roland. Bring it up.
Got a little 1-2 punch, or former 1-2 punch, one of the best to ever have happened, in my opinion, that resulted in a championship. Kyrie and LeBron. What's going on with them, Justin?
The beef continues.
What's going on?
So it looks like Kyrie was on Kevin Durant's podcast.
Of course.
And he gave a little jab at LeBron. And I don't even know if LeBron really feels a certain way about it or if he's using this as fuel for the year.
Well, I mean, what Kyrie did say, that he feels good now to be on a team for the first time in his career with a clutch shooter as good as him. And he was looking at Kevin Durant. Whereas he played with LeBron James for 3 seasons. And I think LeBron James hit a couple of game winners in the playoffs for that team. Kyrie gets all the love for that shot that he hit in Steph Curry's grill in Game 7 to win the championship. And it seems that has really, and it would have gone to my head too, but it's for sure gone to Kyrie's head. He's been mental ever since he hit
Roland,
that shot.
Kyrie's your boy, bro.
He is my boy.
For him, not against him, bro.
No, he is my boy. But sometimes when you say shit like this, man, I can't cape for you, especially when you're going at LeBron James. You can't go at him, especially on that regard.
That was the stigma with LeBron haters.
Yeah,
that was the stigma.
But if you really look at the numbers, which I like to look at the numbers, LeBron James isn't bad in that spot. He's
Kyrie's
pretty good.
Been watching too much Skip Bayless?
A little bit. And like I said, I think ever since Kyrie hit that shot, man, he's like, fuck. I hit the game winner. Without LeBron, without me, LeBron doesn't have a championship. He's like, let me go get a team now. Let me go get a team. He goes to Boston. What happened there? And again, I'm a Kyrie fan. I own like
you need to act like it, Roland.
It's tough. It's tough sometimes. I'm a Kyrie fan from the perspective of what happened this past offseason with the bubble and him actually just providing another perspective. Now, when I'm looking at it, I'm just like, shit, is he really just trying to just egg at LeBron at every little chance that he gets?
Yeah.
That's what this looks like.
That's what Big Perk was saying, bro.
That's what this. Yeah, but Perk has a way of saying things that I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the time, and
he makes it hard to agree with him even though he's making sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But he did it. Perk was right on this one, bro. Perk was teammates with them, bro. He knew them. We should have at least listened to him on that.
For sure, he was in the locker room with both those guys, and I would again. Maybe this is just me giving LeBron the benefit of the doubt, but LeBron. We'll let the clip play here in a little bit, but. I think LeBron was really just looking out for Kyrie's best interest the whole time that he was in Cleveland with him, and I wouldn't think any different.
Maybe he was trying to be too much of like a big bro or like a pops. Maybe
too much of a big bro,
or maybe Kyrie just didn't like the fact that no matter what happened, if the Cavs won, LeBron was going to be on the pedestal, and maybe Kyrie just wanted to be on the pedestal.
So, what clip gets played more, LeBron's block or Kyrie's shot? I'd say LeBron's block.
That block was.
Without the block, the shot doesn't happen, right?
No.
The shot may happen, but it doesn't mean the same, does it?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And maybe that's the thing with Kyrie. He feels like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves for that championship.
Maybe he wanted that Finals MVP.
And it's
the shot, Roland.
It's the big bro thing too, because I remember the first matchup after they left each other, or after LeBron James went. Where's he now? I'm blanking. The Lakers, but I think he stayed on Cleveland.
While Kyrie
went to Boston.
He was with IT.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. And that first matchup, the whole thing where you're hugging your brother on the court or whatever, and then you do the little head pat. Like they head patted each other like 3 times. Like they weren't gonna let the other one get the big Dude, ever since that, I was like, okay, Kyrie has a little inferiority complex.
Bro. He's petty.
Yeah, he has a little complex. For sure, he has a complex.
Fam, let's talk about him saying he's not doing media. How are we not talking about that also? Play that LeBron's response, so Justin, if you can for us.
Well, first of all, Kai is one of the most talented players I've ever played with in my life.
Fact.
So when I heard the comment that Kyrie made, I wanted to, not only find the whole transcript, but also call my people, send me the whole transcript. And I heard he did it on Katie's podcast. And I was a little like damn.
Yeah.
Once I got the whole transcript, I was like, damn. I wasn't like, oh, you tripping, I've hit game-winning shots my whole life. I was not like that. I was like, damn, because you were there for a couple seasons. I played with Kyrie for 3 seasons. The whole time while I was there, I only wanted to see him be an MVP of our league. I only cared about his success. And it just didn't align. Yeah. It just didn't align. And we was able to win a championship. Yeah. That's the craziest thing. We were still able to win a championship, and we could never align, but I only cared about his well-being, both on and off the floor. And it kind of hurt me a little bit.
There it is.
Damn it, boy.
The reaction says it all. It was like, damn.
Out of left field. But like we were talking about, Kyrie has been taking shots at LeBron for a little while now. And this just follows that same accord. I can't stick with people who say that stuff and don't kind of look at the numbers when it comes to LeBron and how he's done in that spot. He's pretty much, I think, at a almost a 50% clip. I'm looking for some numbers right now in clutch spots for LeBron James. Since 2003, he's hit on the highest percent of clutch field goals in the NBA, 44%. This article was written, a couple of years ago. But, I mean, LeBron James isn't bad in the clutch. That's just –
He's only gotten better as his career gone on in the clutch.
That's just, a narrative that started with, First Take back in the day with LeBron James passing off to Damon Jones in the corner for some shots. And
hasn't let it die since.
Yeah, but, I mean –
for making the right play.
Making the right basketball play, but that's the thing when you wear the number 23 on your jersey, when you come into the NBA after being compared to number 23 your whole life, you're going to get those comparisons, but don't let that fool you. LeBron James is good in the clutch. And Kyrie, I'm just taking a shot at him. I find it funny sometimes, but as far as, two guys that have played each other for 3 years, LeBron James obviously a little taken aback by this. And I don't want to be Kyrie in that first matchup between the Lakers and the Nets.
Bro, and the thing is, LeBron is a genuine dude. I mean, it's been proven. Maybe, I mean, a lot of people joke about him trading teammates. He'll trade you. But LeBron's always shown that he's a pretty genuine dude, and for the most part, a good teammate. So when he says that he only wanted Kyrie to be MVP, I believe it, because I feel like he kind of might feel the same way about AD. Obviously, this past year, LeBron wanted that last MVP push, but he's always putting AD over the top. He's always putting AD on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
AD took that last shot against – what big game did AD hit that three in, Joe? Against the Nuggets, right?
I'm like that.
Yeah, LeBron's all about making the right play for the end goal, which is the championship, because that's all that he's playing for. So, I mean – he can be petty, but he's really not going to get caught up in this petty stuff with Kyrie. I don't expect him to go back and forth. Shout out Road Trip and Podcast. He was doing the podcast with Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, and I forget the girl's name, but she's with the Lakers now too. But Kyrie goes on his teammates' podcast. LeBron goes. Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye were a part of the Cleveland Cavs when they were on the championship run. They were teammates with Kyrie as well. It's
saw firsthand how it was.
Yeah, it's the basketball community too, though, bro. It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like we've seen this kind of LeBron against KD the last couple of years. KD was the one that came over the top, and people were like, "Nah, KD is the best in the NBA. He can just get a bucket. He can score on LeBron." KD got hurt, and LeBron's back up over the top, and now Kyrie is with KD against LeBron and AD. It's going to be interesting, bro. What are y'all's honest expectations for the Nets? Where do you expect them to finish?
I think they're going to finish, somewhere in the top 4 on the East, obviously in terms of playoff seedings. And for me, it all comes down to what Kevin Durant you're getting. If you get Golden State, Kevin Durant, the guy who, he won back-to-back titles for that organization. Finals time, he was the guy taking the big shots in the final.
MVPs, yeah.
For sure, of course.
Over LeBron. He hit that big shot, the dagger against LeBron on the fast break three-pointer. LeBron was waiting for him. He pulled up right in his grill, knocked it down. You get that, KD. I want to say Nets go to the finals. I don't know they win it, but I say the Nets go to the finals if you get that KD. First year back, KD gets to the finals?
If you get that KD.
If they manage to get Harden mid-season, the Nets go to the finals. If they manage to get Harden mid-season, if they work out a 3-team trade, whatever, if they get Kyrie, KD, and Harden, they're getting to the finals. Other than that, I see them around 4 or 5, bro. I see maybe them. It's going to take a little bit of that time for them to get used to playing, taking turns.
But the East right now is kind of weird. I guess you got to just give Milwaukee the default number 1 seed. You got to think they're going to do their thing again in the regular season, unless Giannis decides to, wreak havoc and, be a diva mid-season, kind of ruin stuff for them. But I don't see that happening because Giannis doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. He's about his business. And then you got to think about the rest of the contenders in that division. Who was the number 2 seed last year? The Raptors are still there. Got to think that they're, I guess, going to be about the same. I know they lost Ibaka. They didn't have Marc Gasol last year already, but Ibaka is a big piece for them. And then the Celtics are dealing with some injuries.
Played in the playoffs for them.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't have him anymore or Ibaka. And then the Celtics are dealing with injuries. They lost Hayward, although I think that might be a good thing for them. I don't think he ever fit in really with them. But what's his name? Kemba Walker, their lead point guard.
They lost they lost Wanamaker as well. Like guys who would get minutes.
And then it's open. It's wide open.
Does whatever team that gets James Harden in the East make the finals? Is that pretty much where it's at right now?
Yeah, I think so.
If the Heat trade for James Harden, they're in the finals. If the Nets trade for James Harden, they're in the finals. If James Harden and Embiid are together, I think you could get to the finals.
From the teams that we named.
There's a path. There's a path.
Yes. Now, if it's a team that we didn't name and somehow they magically found a way to get him, I wouldn't.
But notice what he did. He's going to make all. That's why I think that the Rockets might have some leverage. It's going to be top 4, top 5 teams in the East. Maybe at the trade deadline, a bidding war for James Harden.
Yeah, one of these teams who want a win now mentality, like the Nets. That could
or the Heat, bro. Like you were just there with James Harden. You're right back there.
Everybody's gunning at the Lakers, though. Everybody's gunning at the Lakers, trying to. I think the Lakers still, though, right now, got to be the favorites to go back to back. I mean, they got the top 2 players in the NBA.
And they are. According to ESPN. According to ESPN.
It's not just ESPN, though.
No, that's the rankings that we're about to. Roland was trying to transition, but the rankings that we're about to bring up is just based off ESPN.
And they're usually all cap, honestly. Like the one player that's calling cap is my boy, DeMar DeRozan. How can you find 80 players in the NBA better than DeMar DeRozan? DeMar DeRozan was ranked at 81.
Bro, if he would have gotten traded to the Lakers, he would have been in the top 20, dog. Because ESPN's making the rankings.
Is that a joke? 81? I honestly, I don't put much weight into the rankings, especially when you see stuff like this. Like you got. They were pulling up a list of guys ranked higher than
Lillard over Harden.
Tyler Harrow was ranked higher than DeMar DeRozan.
I would rank him.
Lonzo Ball was ranked ahead of DeMar DeRozan.
What?
Yeah,
that was wild. I would say Hero's better. I'd rather have
it's straight disrespectful at this point. And I get why DeMar DeRozan gets a little mad because as a player, I mean, you look forward to seeing this stuff. You look forward to where your name is going to be at in the list and see how high you've risen or how far you've dropped. And for him to see an 81, and I don't think he's had too much of a statistical drop-off. I think he's been pretty good, and he's the best player on the Spurs team. So 81 is crazy.
You think DeMar DeRozan's better than Malcolm Brogdon?
Yes.
Brogdon's number 39.
Roland,
crazy,
Brogdon.
Ty Gilchrist 38.
Dude, you want Malcolm Brogdon to be your lead number 2 and taking the shots that DeMar DeRozan takes?
Empty stats.
That's not so much empty, dude. He's just on a team where he's the best player, and he shouldn't be the best player on the team.
Johnson's the best player on the Spurs. DeMar DeRozan.
Still with that because those cards. Come on.
What's the top 10? Can you run down the top 10 for his Joe?
See if I pull it up right now.
I know number 1 was LeBron.
2 is Anthony Davis.
2 is AD. 3 was Kawhi.
I'd probably say Giannis.
Oh, Kawhi was like 5.
I thought Giannis was 4 or 5. He was 1 ahead of or Curry.
Nikola Jokic.
10, Jokic.
Number 9, James Harden.
Wild.
Number 8, Stephen Curry. Number 7, Damian Lillard.
Wild.
Number 6, Kevin Durant.
Injury.
Number 5, Kawhi Leonard. Number 4, Luka Doncic.
That's a little crazy.
Number 3, Giannis. Number 2, Anthony Davis. And number 1, LeBron James.
I mean, we got to caveat this a little bit too.
It's ESPN bias.
Not only that, ESPN, they try and factor in what they think the player is going to do in the upcoming season. So that's probably why you see Luka so high. You see a guy like
I'm not mad at Luka.
Harrow.
I'm not mad at Luka there because there's a lot of hype. But James Harden, that low is ridiculous.
So where would you have James Harden?
Above Damian Lillard, above Giannis.
You wouldn't say James Harden has some empty stats sometimes too?
Oh, you want James above Giannis right now?
How not? I thought we decided like 10 podcasts ago that it was James Harden was skilled and Giannis was just.
No, I'm just wondering.
All he could do is dunk. Yeah, I'd rather have James Harden than Giannis.
So you would put James as the 3rd best player right now then?
I'd put Kawhi ahead of him.
I put Kawhi ahead of him.
I would, and
I
if
put Harden
KD
above Luka too, though.
obviously, I don't know what if KD comes back the way he was. Clearly, he's ahead of Harden. It's an Achilles. I'm a little bit more optimistic as to his return off of his Achilles, just because of he can shoot over anybody.
He's better than Giannis when he's healthy,
and he's better than Harden as well. He's better than both of those guys.
If healthy, I like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant. Number 4.
Do you all have a problem with
Kawhi.
number 1, LeBron James?
No,
None whatsoever.
Okay,
None
no problem
whatsoever.
there. Number 2, Anthony Davis. Anybody have a problem with that?
Not right now.
I think that's up for debate.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's debatable.
Let's debate it. Who is your 2 then, Ben?
I think you could easily put Kawhi at number 2. Because let's be honest, bro, you're going to want LeBron and then you're going to want Kawhi in a game 7 of the NBA Finals. You're going to want them over. AD is number 2 because he's LeBron's teammate. And LeBron's teammate has always been top 5 cusp at least. LeBron's Batman or LeBron's Robin has always been right there, whether it's Kyrie, whether it's D Wade, whoever it is.
If healthy, if healthy, number 2 for me is Kevin Durant. That's where I got to go.
I would put KD 3 or 2. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
If healthy, I'm fine with that. And if he really is really healthy,
He was making the case to be the best.
he
in the league.
make that case again if he's that healthy.
He was making the case to get the torch passed to him before he got hurt.
But LeBron has had some other plans though, and he's I'm taking that torch back for a little bit. And
Part of LeBron going to LA was KD fucking. Did KD's decision to leave Golden State happen before LeBron went to LA or no?
No, LeBron went to LA first.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, Luka
Yeah,
at
LeBron,
4,
yeah.
I would move him down.
Well, everybody's expecting an MVP season from Luka this year, bro. They're going to be without
still would
Kristaps
move him down,
Porzingis. There's going to be without Kristaps Porzingis to start the year, so he's going to carry a heavy load. He's going to be filling up the stat sheet.
Yeah, I was going to say he has that usage rate working for him coming into the season, for sure.
I don't like Jokic at 10 either.
Yeah, I guess you got to give him his credit for being the second best big man. People like to call him the best center because Anthony Davis doesn't like to call himself a center. He sometimes doesn't like to play the 5. So that's where I think Jokic comes in. And Jokic is a really skilled player, man. Just like skills, when you're thinking about everything that a player does on the court, Jokic can do most of it except run fast or jump high. I mean, he has all the skills. Like, he's a great passer. He's probably a top 5 passer in this league. He's a great 3-point shooter, and he has about every move in the book when it comes to his post game. I love watching him work against back against the basket down on the post. He doesn't do it too much because the way the NBA works now, but once you get him down there, he's got a good little up and under. He has a nice little running hook. Guy can play. I like Jokic.
Any top 10 snubs that y'all think? Maybe a player that you thought maybe should have been in the top 10 and isn't? Or somebody who you think will be a top 10 player this coming year? Booker might be a
maybe Jimmy Buckets. Maybe
Jimmy Butler top 10.
The way he played this finals and
Paul George is a guy who was usually cracking top 10s the last couple of years.
I'm done with that.
Hey, you should be done with buying his sneakers too, Roland.
They're comfortable, man. I'm telling you, I like those shoes.
Where did Paul George end up in this list? 20.
Yeah,
That's about right for him. I mean, he's still a good 2-way player at the end of the day.
We got Zion in the top 20. We really don't know.
See, the NBA. See, that's the other problem I have. How is Zion in the freaking top 20?
Would a healthy Klay Thompson crack the top 10 or no?
No.
Not the top 10. He'd be probably like 12, 13.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker's a guy that could end up in the top 10.
Trae Young.
Depending how his team does and how he does over the course of the year.
20, guys.
Damn, Trae Young's not in the top 20. Okay.
That's fair for me. Doesn't do a lot of winning down in Atlanta yet.
25.
That's
Trae
fine
Young's
with me.
29.
Christian Wood.
Believe it or not, 76.
Hey, what's up?
I'm just joking, bro.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
People's barely finding out that he's on the team. They barely let him in the arena.
That's funny. Oh, LaMelo's got to be in the top 20, bro.
I don't think
Pretty much, but probably with the way the ESPN works.
We're gonna put him at 19.
Well, you got Zion Williamson ranked in the top. What'd you say? He's in the top 20 right now.
Yeah, 19. Or
That's okay. That's
John
insane.
Morant?
And then they have like the third most primetime games this year. ESPN is trying to force feed Zion Williamson down our throats, and I don't like it.
Is it ESPN or the NBA?
It's a little bit of both, man.
He's on Christmas, fam.
And they have like their top 5 in primetime games. Give one of those games to the Spurs. The Spurs have 0 primetime games. That's we talked about it last time, but that's bullshit.
Once they find out about Keldon Johnson, they'll put you on prime time.
I'm around 31.
31. Wow.
How Lowry's ahead of him.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, but Zion being ahead of Ja?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Siakam ahead of Ja right now.
Siakam's a guy that I'm a little.
He needs a bounce back year.
Half or half, man. He looked bad in the playoffs.
He
got exposed in the playoffs.
In the bubble. Maybe it was the bubble. I don't know, but he needs to bounce back because it wasn't a good look, like you said. It was
the first year he became an all-star, and he had
was the man.
a target on his back.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gotta ask y'all though. Ben Simmons, number 16. Does he belong in the top 20?
Roland will tell you.
He does. He does, man. I mean, I think he's still probably one of the best talents that hasn't developed a three-point shot. I mean, you can't hold that over his head if you have Giannis that high, because he's a better passer than Giannis. I love Ben Simmons in the fast break. He can post up at the 4 when utilized correctly. You just gotta find the way to use Ben Simmons. And he D's up, he D's up. So you
1 through 4.
Ben Simmons belongs there. I just think he needs to get in the right system, and hopefully that comes with Doc Rivers. I don't know if that's going to necessarily work. I think they're giving it one more try. Him and Embiid. Where's Embiid on that list?
Oh, good question.
Outside the top 10.
Well, yeah, but he's probably top 15.
He's another guy that could end up in the top 10 depending the year.
You better be over Karl Anthony Towns. Shit. Hey, that's the thing. That's probably the best deal. You just add Ben Simmons and maybe a pick, or Ben Simmons and Thibault for Harden. And
they were already thinking about blowing it up anyways, right?
I don't see why they don't do it, bro. I really don't. It just makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. And the Rockets get a 25-year-old Ben Simmons, bro. Like, they just got to help him develop a jumper.
Joel Embiid, number 14.
Yeah, he can be top 10.
And Karl Anthony Towns is 23.
So Embiid or Jokic, if you need to choose one at the 5, who do you guys go with?
I think you have to say Embiid. I mean, you have to say Jokic
he has a 3-point that Embiid doesn't have,
and the passing, and the consistency, and the health. Like,
yeah, you got to go Jokic.
He proved himself. We got to start putting some respect on Jokic.
Yeah, I just don't think he's top 10, but he's up there.
You don't think he's top 10? So who would you?
That was my argument that he shouldn't have been in the top 10.
So who would you put in over him?
Like I said, I like Butler and I liked Tatum.
Tatum's a good.
Tatum's another guy. Gosh, there's a lot of guys who can spring into this top 10.
Yeah. All right.
But he could be in there. It's interchangeable. It's not like I'm not mad about it.
The list for the most part is right. The numbers is what might not be right. The way that they're ordered. But I think for the most part, those are the top 10 players in the NBA. I think that we can all more or less agree on that. Like you said, you had one discrepancy, maybe Jokic for Tatum, maybe one guy. But for the most part, those are the best 10 players in the NBA, not in any order. I would say I don't agree with the order, but those are the best 10 guys.
Fair enough.
Speaking of someone who's not in that top 10 list is Paul George. Yeah. He just got he
got paid like he's number 1 on that fucking list.
Got a $190 million Clipper contract. Just for reference, that is more money for the 5-year deal that he got than Anthony Davis got.
So he's guaranteed $226.
Paul George making more money than Anthony Davis right now.
Roland, your boy?
Look, the word on Paul George, I mean, he's not my boy, but Paul George, before, it's hard when you flail like he did on national television where everybody's at home, coronavirus, everybody's watching, and you look bad the way that he did. But make no mistake about it, 82 games a year, Paul George is a top 20 player. And that's just the going rate for a guy like that on your team. And especially if you're trying to, build something in LA with him and Kawhi for the foreseeable future, I think it's a move you kind of have to make. Because if you don't, what do you do with Paul George? Do you trade him? Do you try and get value for him? I mean, what happens?
You give Kawhi the flexibility because Kawhi's calling the shots. I mean, unless I don't want to say like Kawhi okayed this deal, but Kawhi's a free agent after this season, fam. If anybody should have gotten that extension, it should have been Kawhi before they gave it to Paul George to have some leeway, some room to maneuver if Kawhi maybe is having second thoughts of playing with Paul George, like a lot of people said that it looked like in the playoffs. They said
it looks like he does have second thoughts, though.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't make much sense for them to do this.
This is a bad move for the organization, in my opinion. I know Paul George came out this week and said, "I want to retire a Clipper. I really want to be here. This is where I dreamed of playing." That's probably why they added those, those dollars to it. But I don't foresee Kawhi being a Clipper past this year.
Then where would he go?
Oh, wherever Uncle Dennis says, baby. I don't know.
Wherever Uncle Dennis says.
Whoever pays up.
Uncle Dennis doesn't have the say over Ballmer. He's not telling Ballmer what to do.
No, I'm saying where does Kawhi go after this year? Because Justin doesn't see Kawhi coming back, and he says,
"Nah, Kawhi's staying in LA."
Wherever Uncle Dennis says is what Justin.
Which team in LA?
But if you're getting Giannis, how are you getting Kawhi?
Come on, like the guy from Marvel, bro. We're gonna have the diamonds.
They're unbearable, Roland. They're unbearable.
Yeah, I think
everybody.
Justin's probably already got a couple photoshops in the tuck.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have fucking Harden in a fucking Laker uniform yet, bro. I'm really surprised.
He's too much.
Hey, just wait. All it's gonna take is Harden saying that he wants to go to the Lakers.
Yeah, and then Lakers fans will be like, "Oh nah, but
we can do it.
Kuzma's not on the table."
Hey, speaking of Kuzma, is LeBron James trying to play GM by saying that Kuzma's about to make a big jump? Did you see that on Twitter?
He was hyping Kuzma up, saying who's the next best player or something like that. And
think about it though, Kuzma, what is he? The third option off the bench, or was the third option off the bench this past year? Probably like in that 7.
Behind Rondo, yeah.
And he has his own,
in the season. He was a better option than in the playoffs.
He has his own national campaign for his own personal shoe. That only happens in LA. That's crazy.
He's signed a Puma right now.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Justin, just backtracking, if you saw it up, where was Russell Westbrook on that list of players? Okay. Interested to see if they had him in the top 20. And if Bradley Beal's in the top
36, Westbrook.
And Bradley Beal? He's got to be higher than Westbrook.
22, Bradley Beal, higher than John Morant, too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, higher than that.
Beal's name.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what they're doing.
You think John should be lower than Westbrook?
No,
I think that Bradley Beal should be above Ja.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
And Westbrook
I don't
should
know
be
about
above Ja,
Westbrook
too.
being above Ja right now.
He should be, for
He
sure.
should be.
Especially in Washington. He's about to run wild on them.
And he's shown up like a true professional. We haven't mentioned
2
that
hours
at all.
early.
I mean, he got his way. He wanted to
Yeah.
trade. I'm sure Harden would be showing up too if he was out.
He showed up like a true professional to Washington, and it looks like he's going to try and make it work with him and Bradley Beal. I don't know if it's going to work out, but they're going to try.
But why wouldn't they try, Roland? I mean, he got what he wanted, a trade.
So Wizards playoff team, just before we move off the NBA.
Yeah.
You think so? Yeah, I
At
think
least
so
an
too.
8 seed, at least. With Bradley Beal and Westbrook, Westbrook's not a guy who misses a lot of games. He already had Corona. They'll be in the East. They'll be a playoff team, bro. I mean, you got to be 500 to fucking get in.
And that's what I said. Bradley Beal had them almost in the playoffs by himself.
Exactly.
So who drops out to make way for the Wizards then?
Who the Magic were in last year? I don't know if the Magic do what they do again. They kind of had a hot. They didn't add anybody. They didn't really do much, and
They drafted Cole Anthony. That was about it.
Cole Anthony's not going to do
So they have Cole Anthony and
Markel Fultz.
Markel Fultz at point guard.
I like Markel Fultz, though, in that starting spot still.
So let me just read off the Eastern standings. We got Bucks at 1, Raptors at 2, Celtics at 3, Pacers at 4, 5 Miami, 6 76ers, 7 Nets, 8 Magic. The only one I seen possibly dropping off a little bit is Pacers and Magic.
Yeah,
But they also
They drop off enough.
I think they're keeping the play-in game, aren't they? They're keeping the format for
They
this
are.
season.
yeah.
So I mean, you just got to be in that 9 spot to be playable.
True. Now I expect the Wizards to make the playoffs. I really do.
It's fine.
What a nice little
Hey,
starting
got-
lineup.
Magic gonna have to
They
drop
got the
off.
new. They got the new Red Rocket, the new Red Mamba.
Yeah,
they got
they
Davis
got a nice-
Bertans, baby.
And Rui
Sniper.
Hachimura, Thomas Bryant. They got a
Davis
decent
Bertans
little
is a
lineup for the Eastern Conference, bro.
Which brings me up to my every time I bring up Bertans, I got to say screw you, Marcus Morris or whoever did it, whoever made us.
That was
trade
dirty.
Bertans.
Y'all fucking lost him for nothing, bro.
I got to say it every time I bring up Bertans,
And
or else I'm not a Spurs
he
fan.
just got paid too, Bertans. Like he was balling. He's lethal from behind the arc. He's lethal.
Should be on
All
our
right,
squad.
guys,
right
what
now.
else y'all got for NBA? Anything else you want to cover?
That's it.
Hey, by the time we come back, preseason will have been played, and we'll be a couple days away from the opener, right? So we'll get more into it next week.
And James Harden will have 6 negative COVID tests by the time we come back. He's expected to be at practice on Monday. That's the plan. We'll see what happens. We're on Thursdays. So
All right.
hopefully.
We'll see. That's a wrap for NBA. All right, getting into our weekly NFL news. Big news out of the NFC East, hottest division out there.
Hell yeah.
Carson Wentz, straight garbage. He is now being benched for
Alabama alum.
third round pick, fourth round pick. What was it?
First round pick.
First round
man.
pick.
I like
First,
it.
they reached for him. Damn.
Instead of Justin Jefferson, they took Jalen Hurts.
They ended up getting Jalen Reagor, who I don't think has played too much.
Oh, that was their first round pick. So wasn't
Yeah.
Hurts their second?
I could have sworn they got him in the first, but it
Nah,
probably was
it
the
was their
second. It was a second round.
Yeah, he
They
was.
moved up for him though.
High draft
Jordan Love was that other first round QB.
And I think I know I for sure shitted on the pick. I didn't think it was going to be a good pick because Jalen Hurts wasn't expected to play much. You think Carson Wentz is going to be the starter, but man, we talked about it a little last week with Carson Wentz falling off and how he was previously compared to Dak Prescott, which those comparisons should never be made again. But he now finds himself on the bench, and that's because he's got the money thing working for him next year. They're going to have to give him another chance to play just because the way his contract works. But I think I saw somebody tweet it, and it's true. Doug Peterson only has so many moves left to make in terms of trying to save his job, and this is just one of them.
We talk about how many years a Super Bowl buys you as a head coach. We've mentioned it before. It seems like Doug Peterson's time's running out. And has it even been 5 years?
No, it hasn't been 5 years, but
that's a brutal fan base too in
yeah,
Philly.
it's
bro.
Philly. It's Philly. So you got to
I
think
can't believe James Harden wants to go to Philly, fam. We were on the front lines for you. In Philly, they'll throw you straight to the fucking monsters. Like those fans aren't going to cap for you, bro.
I mean, Philly does.
Right now.
I think it's a little different though for Philly for basketball fans because I mean they loved Allen Iverson.
Roland, but they shit on Embiid, Roland.
They do.
I mean, they've gone at Embiid. Philly fans are like New York fans, bro. They're brutal, bro. They are brutal.
City of brotherly love.
Right.
When it comes to sports, they want chips.
Also, though, like not even just from the perspective that it's one of Doug Peterson's last moves to save his job.
Defense.
But I mean, Wentz has been playing bad. Like I don't think you can keep on trucking him out there. I mean, sometimes he looks a little lost. Sometimes you can blame it on the offensive line being shaky. He had the excuse that Greg Ward was his best receiver for a while. But you took Carson Wentz out of that Packers game, and there was an immediate offensive spark with Jalen Hurts in the game.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would say otherwise to that.
He did throw an interception too, though.
With Hurts, with Wentz, they were in the minus money every game for him to throw an interception.
What do we expect? Jalen Hurts starting
big
for the
difference
Eagles
last year.
against the Saints. What do we expect?
Not much. I mean, it's a bad time to throw him in there. If you ask me, I mean, you can't get a worse matchup than going up against that Saints defense.
So it's Doug Peterson just pulling the card because he had no other choice?
Pretty much, man. I don't know why you wait this long.
Mid-game, too?
Yeah,
right?
but I also, I mean, there's a lot of politics at play. I think Carson Wentz is an owner's guy. The owner likes him. Carson Wentz is the number 2 pick. He has the money behind him and the contract, so you're not going to throw that guy to the side right away. You're going to give him every single little chance that he needs to right the ship. And I think that's just what happened. It just, unfortunately for Philly fans and unfortunately for Jalen Hurts, it took how many games are left in the season? It took 13 games for us to get to this point, or 12 games to get to this point.
I'm gonna cape for Wentz a little bit because I like the guy, man. Listen, Deshaun Jackson, how many games has he played this year?
Like none, I don't think. I think he got hurt like as soon as he stepped off the plane.
Alshon Jeffrey, how many games has he played this year? Like they're relying on Jalen Reagor. He was hurt like as soon as the season started.
And he got hurt in preseason.
Zach Ertz hurt. Like who's he? Dallas Goedert hurt. Fam, who's he supposed to throw to?
That's why a lot of weapons like you got.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff at play.
Anybody. They got rid of fucking Aguilar. Aguilar's catching fucking Hail Marys for a touchdown for the Raiders against the Jets.
So that's a point in itself, though. Aguilar can catch. Apparently, he's not doing too bad with the Raiders. But when he was with the Eagles,
if Greg Williams is part of the defense, he's gonna catch. Yeah,
but he's been catching. He's been
he
fairly consistent with the Raiders.
The fans are brutal. Back to my point, the fans are brutal.
But what I got to say now is, how come he can catch there, but he was struggling with Wentz?
I don't know. Maybe Derek Carr throws a softer ball. Wentz looks like he does zip him in there. Point being, bro, Carson Wentz, I mean, they should have gotten Jordan Jefferson, not Jalen Reagor.
Yep.
I guarantee you he would have had something. Even T. Higgins, fam, Jalen Reagor is not it. Everybody –
he's a little gadget guy.
Fuck. Yeah, everybody said the same thing as soon as they took him. Like, what? It made no sense. They're not helping him at all. And then in the second round, taking a QB, they could have probably taken T. Higgins there, maybe the Pittman that the Colts ended up taking. Like, there was options, bro. The Eagles front office needs to fucking look in the mirrors what needs to happen.
It's not all on Carson Wentz, but a change had to be made.
And I'm not even talking about the O-line injuries either, because I don't know all the O-linemen's names.
Lane Johnson was out very early. I don't think he's played much. Kelsey's been hurt.
He's been the only thing standing for them, literally.
Yeah. And hey, he was once a sought after prospect. He went number 2 in the draft. There's a lot of expectations for that spot.
And coming in, I was going to ask, where do you think that he gets traded to? But then you said, no, they got to give him another shot because they paid him. And I think that they do, bro. Just because, I mean, look at all the shit that we just mentioned, the speed bumps in their season. And they were mostly offensive weapons.
You're going to get one more shot in the offseason.
At least he has to, at least. Unless Jalen Hurts goes on a little run here.
I don't see them going quarterback in the draft, the Eagles.
They better fucking not.
But there are some quarterbacks to be had in this draft.
But could you see Carson Wentz maybe being traded to a team like the Bears or the Lions that need a quarterback?
I could see him go to the Bears. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I don't know about the Lions. I still think Matt Stafford gets crapped on all the time.
He's done there. Not because of him, but just they got to let him go. They got to let Matt Stafford walk.
I believe the Lions are under new ownership, and the new owner has said something along the lines that he's going to look at it to see if they're going to move forward with Matt Stafford or not.
Diamond in the dirt or whatever it's called.
Matt Stafford might end up in Dallas, low key, bro. That's what we might be talking about. That's where he's from.
Well, anyway, just for the record, I hope that Jalen Hurts, I do like the kid a lot. I hope he's successful. I hope we don't see Carson Wentz ever again on the field.
Oh, they're throwing Jalen Hurts into the wolves this week.
They are.
The Saints defense has been very good as of late.
I think they did reach when they got him for getting him that early, but I want him to succeed. So, I like the kid.
Listen, if Nick Saban cut him, I mean, come on, man.
different
Well, speaking of bad draft picks, what does the draft order look like right now? I mean, we only got a couple of games left before the season ends. It's dwindling down.
The Jets at 1.
And the Jets, we saw, were they tanking or was that just Greg Williams being? Greg Williams?
That was a designated play.
He likes to run that play.
I think that they're tanking. Like, let's put a man to man. If he beats him, and we lose. But
yeah, but he also ended up getting fired after that play. So you got to think that wasn't part of
it.
the
But how has the coach still not been fired? Adam Gase.
He's got some nudes somewhere, man. Honestly,
has to.
They were talking about it too.
Roland.
They're saying, I forgot who it was. I think it was maybe Keyshawn Johnson. I liked watching that radio show in the morning with him and Jay Will, talking about how Peyton Manning signed off on Adam Gase. He gave him an endorsement when he was, becoming a head coach.
He was an OC.
So Peyton Manning doesn't look good for giving him an endorsement. I mean, he still has a job.
He has Peyton Manning Tennessee videos.
Maybe that's why he's still employed, because he's got Peyton Manning behind him or something. But it doesn't make much sense as to why he's still employed. And he just wasted Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's career is kind of.
I don't think Sam Darnold is it, anyways. But
yeah, but you got to think he goes into a
Sam Darnold, another guy who could end up on the Bears.
But he's a guy that in spurts he's looked good, and you got to think that if he had showed up in a better organization, he would have. He would have done a little bit better. There's a reason why we're talking about what's his name, Trevor Lawrence, not wanting to go to the Jets. It's a dumpster fire. I mean, that's what people have been talking about. That's what people have been talking about.
Lawrence will change that shit, bro. I'm an avid college football watcher, and Sam Darnold wasn't it even at USC, bro. Too many turnovers, even in college. Too many turnovers. He's gonna get dealt this offseason. We'll see where he ends up. And Adam Gase won't be there wherever the fuck he ends up. Adam Gase won't be there.
Well, if Adam Gase is there, he's Trevor Lawrence. You can put Trevor Lawrence on that team, and nothing.
Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1, and Sam Darnold will not be a backup. They're going to get something for him. He'll be gone. The question is where. That's going to be the question.
All right. Well, moving on. Number 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Another team that needs a quarterback. I said they take Justin Fields.
And
Lawrence goes number 1.
And Minshew has been healthy, and they've just not been starting him.
Yeah, I saw that he went and begged to try and play, but they were sticking with Glennon.
Yeah.
That's another guy, though, Marone. I think he's out after this year.
They're tanking, bro. They're tanking. And they'll probably take, like Roland said, quarterback out of Ohio State.
Let's move on to number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. They are definitely not looking for a quarterback.
Got to go O-line. Gotta go O-line.
I heard the O-line out of Oregon, the tackle out of Oregon is the guy that's getting a lot of play right now. His name's slipping.
We don't expect Joe Burrow to play next year either, right? Like he's gonna just rehab, right?
I do. I expect him next
year. He might be back maybe sometime next year. I mean,
his injury.
There's an ACL. There's MCL damage.
Over a year's worth of rehab. So
yeah.
Do you see my display name here? He's got to go rehab with El Cucuy.
Oh, that's another kind of rehab,
and
bro.
In 3 months, Camara will be back for the Bengals.
He'll be doing cartwheels and flips.
Comeback player of the year.
You got to go O-line and protect them.
Because
they got some nice weapons on that team. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd got thrown out for throwing some punches this past game, but
after a big TD though,
he's been playing well though.
T. Higgins was his favorite target. He's been balling all year.
Yep.
They've been without Joe Mixon for like 5 weeks now as well.
Bright future for Cincinnati. They can protect Joe Burrow.
A team who I didn't think we were going to be talking about this low. Number 4, Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, I thought you were about to say Texans. Hi.
And it's officially hit rock bottom. The Cowboys were flexed out of Sunday night primetime this upcoming week. I don't have anything else to say. I just hope they
have a lot of holes to fill. Where do we hit?
Yeah, I don't even know, man.
You gotta go defense. I mean, you gotta go defense. You gotta go defense.
I gotta ask this though: if Fields is still there,
is there a linebacker to be taken in the top 5 or something this year? Excuse me, maybe Micah Parsons. I think he's a little bit more of an edge rusher or something, but I definitely would like to see a linebacker. I don't like Jalen Smith or Leighton Vander Esch very much after this year. I mean, it just looked bad on all occasions. Jalen Smith looks bad in coverage. I mean, he can only run one direction. God bless his soul. I mean, He's playing with drop foot. There's only so much you can do with that.
But didn't he not get a new contract?
Yeah, I think he did get paid a little bit.
Wasn't he? So he was playing better before.
Yeah, he had a good year last year. He did play well, but this year's completely fallen off a cliff. Van Der Esch looks lost like 90% of the time out there.
Because he's concussed 90% of the fucking
Dude,
time.
did you see he ran the opposite way of Lamar Jackson on that touchdown?
He didn't want to be on the highlight real good.
He ran 10 yards the other way. Like he was dead set on the running back having the ball. And Lamar Jackson just took off in the hole that he vacated. But yeah,
If Fields is there, do we take Fields?
What's that?
If Fields is there at number 4, do we take Fields?
Got to see what happens with Dak Prescott first. I wouldn't mind Fields.
Y'all take Zach Wilson, bro.
And after Micah Parsons, it's thin at linebacker this year.
But what about a safety? How about a safety?
I don't know. There's a prospect that high. I haven't done too much draft research.
It's going to be the TCU safety, Morig.
Ohio State usually has like 6 guys in the first round, but Ohio State
doesn't have safety help this year.
They've only played 4 games. Well, yeah, of course they're not going to have any damn prospects besides the quarterback.
Yeah, they don't look good on defense this year.
What's the 5th one after the Cowboys?
Moving on to number 5, the Chargers. Herbert's looking good though, so you got to
go O-line also.
Got to help Herbert.
O-line, or you go defense somehow. Defense, maybe a linebacker. I can't name you a Chargers linebacker right now. Off the top of my head, I can't name you a Chargers linebacker.
Next linebacker, other than Michael Parsons, is that guy from Notre Dame, Jeremiah.
Maybe a middle linebacker.
It ain't there. Not at the top of the list.
Damn, Daniel. Then I don't know what to tell you.
We're going to be talking about the draft a lot more, though, as the season comes by, and especially because you got 2 Cowboys fans in here that are going to have a top 5 pick, so we're going to be speculating.
Where are the Texans? I know the pick doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the Dolphins, but I'm just curious as to where we are.
Number 9, Miami.
Okay.
Of Houston.
I mean, we're going to beat the Bears this week, so we'll jump to like 13 at least.
I don't think you beat the Bears.
Oh, we will. What's next? What we got?
Got some injury updates, Roland. What's up with the CMC and
CMC's a little bitch is what's up.
CMC, I mean, the only reason why I put this topic on the list to talk about is just to say that it's playoff time. It's playoff time for fantasy football. And I know a couple of guys, including my brother, I think Ben on here has survived and made the playoffs without CMC.
That's right.
But you got to be thinking to yourself, Ben, you can probably attest to this. Have you not been saying for the past couple of weeks, I just need CMC to get back.
Yeah.
I just need him to get back and it's over. I need him to get back and it's over.
Devin Booker, Wayne Gallman, DJ Dallas, CMC. What's going on? And it's a different part of the body every fucking time.
So I gotta ask, because again, I'm eliminated from.
Remember, you all were pissed at me for having the number 1 pick in our draft, saying I fixed it. I took this Skeletor motherfucker who hasn't played, bro.
Is he the biggest bust at the number 1 pick? Because he was consensus number 1. I don't think I saw anybody else take him number 1.
Somebody got taken. What, Saquon might have gotten taken number 1, and he might have been a bigger bust.
True, because he torn ACL. He's been out.
It was bad.
At least McCaffrey, when he's played, he's been McCaffrey. He's produced when he's played.
Yeah, he not 20 plus rolling. But the thing is, they're not in playoff contention. They're under a brand new head coach. He's not going to force him to play. If they're not going to make the playoffs, they might just put him on the pine for the rest of the year, bro. Hey, McCaffrey doesn't have nothing to prove. He's got nothing to prove. They know what he brings to the table. So if they're not in a playoff position, why risk him getting injured? And shit, I thought McCaffrey ain't some Iron Man. I don't know if anybody made him out to be one, but let's not give him that stereotype or stigma because, bro, he's missed so much time for so many different injuries, bro. And it's annoying. It's annoying. It's fucking annoying. I'm starting Kiki Kuti this week, you asshole CMC.
That's the only reason why I brought that up was because of the whole fantasy football implications and him being the number one pick. But the other injury that I see on here, and I think it's kind of interesting just because I think we all grew up kind of liking this player, is Colt McCoy. He's getting a chance to play for the New York Giants, getting a chance to lead them into the playoffs potentially. I know they're going up against the Redskins, but Daniel Jones has a hamstring injury, and they're saying that he had a limited practice on Thursday. They only get one more practice this week.
I think he's going to play.
Okay. You think Daniel Jones is in?
I don't know if he finishes the game.
Colt McCoy, he got the job
busted his
done.
nut last week, bro. Let's be honest. Colt
They
McCoy,
beat the
he
Seahawks.
made Russell Wilson look like the scrub that he is what he did. Okay, he outplayed Russell Wilson. And there's no two ways about it, all right?
It's always good to see Colt McCoy play for me. I love watching Colt McCoy play.
I think he's the ultimate backup. He's just a good backup.
That was supposed to be Andy Dalton, Justin.
Well, we were wrong about that.
I just don't know why you keep bringing that up once we already said.
Hey, I was wrong too, bro. I agreed. I said Andy Dalton's got to be the best backup in the NFL.
Just hurts, man. Just hurts.
I'm sorry. But look, listen, I'm rooting for Colt McCoy. I think that he might be called in mid-game. I think that Daniel Jones is going to give it a go just because they didn't expect to win last week.
No.
Obviously, they didn't expect the Redskins to win either. So that didn't help their cause.
That's
But
why
they're in the mix. And you said they're playing the Redskins this week?
No. Let me see what
they're in the mix with the Redskins for that.
Yeah, it's gonna come down between them two, and you got to think Daniel Jones wants to play. Limited practice time is better than no practice time. For a quarterback, I mean, Daniel Jones knows the offense. He's their guy. I think that he's gonna play. I do. Another injury though, Josh Jacobs might hurt some people in fantasy wise.
Yeah, I had him out for me last. It didn't matter, but yeah, he was out.
But it doesn't look like he's going to go again this week.
Nope. And that's because they have playoff implications. So hopefully, if you have him on your fantasy lineup and you have to bench him, you can survive. And because I imagine he's going to be back when healthy because they're trying to make the playoffs down there in Las Vegas.
And Booker really didn't do much last week. I know I was very excited. I picked him up on Sunday morning. I was like, "What? He's a Booker." I keep saying Devin Booker. Is that his name also? Is it Devin Booker?
I think it's Devontae, if I'm not mistaken. I could be butchering that.
And he didn't do much. He had like 3 or 4 points. So, but
just an update: Giants are playing the Cardinals, and Washington will be playing the Niners.
2 good matchups.
Between those 2 matchups, who do you think can win? Can the Giants beat the Cardinals better, or do you think ittle be a better shot as well?
Give me the Washington football team to beat the Niners.
Yeah. And shout out to Alex Smith, man.
Major shout out.
I think hands down, comeback player of the year. I don't think
player of the decade. Yeah,
he was bleeding out of his sock for getting cleated this past game. He handed the Steelers their first loss, bro. I mean, come on.
We talked about that, right? Or we haven't talked about that yet?
No,
we talked about it a little bit, or I mentioned the NFL lost their last undefeated team. But I mean, the Steelers, they've been playing down to their competition each game. Each game that they've played has kind of been a roller coaster. And
shout out to Frost because he commented when we said does the AFC run through Pittsburgh, and he said that they would end with 2 losses, which was surprising to hear. You know, I thought maybe 1 loss, but they dropped the game that they weren't supposed to the Washington football team, and I've got them losing this week to Josh Allen and the Bills, man.
Shout out Frost.
Honest fan. You hope that they can get it together after that. Let's see when they get James Conner back. He's been out 2 weeks already, and they just haven't been calling running plays.
I think he just got cleared off the COVID list.
They haven't been calling running plays. I mean, it's just been pass. Big Ben's been throwing 50 times a game. In December, it's not a good recipe. It's not. The Steelers have been known for running the ball, and they just haven't been calling running plays. So yeah, shout out to Frost for saying that they would get 2 losses, because now I do think that they will have 2 losses.
You guys have any other takes you want to hit on NFL? Something to look forward to, something you predict?
No, I'm kind of depressed right now just because I'm out of fantasy football and the Cowboys suck. So just want the Cowboys to keep on losing at this point.
Look at the fucking way the Texans lost this past week, bro. I mean, I thought that game was a lock for us. We were at the 2-yard line and just a fumble snap. Yeah, against the Colts. We're at the 2 with like 1:10 left. first and goal, and we fumbled the snap. Deshaun Watson's playing out of his mind. It doesn't matter who he's throwing to. Like I said, I picked up Kiki Kuti in fantasy, and he had 17 points this past week. He went off. They were throwing to some other white dude. His name, I have no idea what his name is, but he had like 90 receiving yards. Brandon Cooks did his thing. Watson's balling right now. He muffed that snap, and damn it, it hurt because we should have won that game. We should have won a couple of games that we lost this year. But I like the fact that the Texans are leaving it on Watson's arm more. We're throwing the ball.
Your take this week then is that the Houston will beat the Bears.
Oh, yeah, we'll beat the Bears. Mr. Trubisky and Deshaun Watson plays well against the Bears. Remember, that's a team that passed up on him and Patrick Mahomes, and they drafted Mitchell Trubisky. Deshaun Watson takes it personal when he plays the Bears. For sure. And I think the Texans are like a 1-point favorite. So it's a 50-50 game, but I think that we get it done.
Yeah, I like the Texans in that game. Another game to look out for me, Browns versus Ravens, Monday night.
Game. Good game.
That's going to have some playoff implications. I'm going to say the Ravens are going to kind of make a push in the second half of the season, show some resolve, and I think the Browns are going to flail off a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
I like the Browns in that game. Baker seems to be feeling himself. I don't know if y'all saw that clip of him sliding. That was smooth as fuck.
Props
he had 4 touchdowns in the first half, guys.
Ball, bro.
They're pretty low on him coming into the season. And
he's making her to eat his words right now, dude.
He's been balling for sure. I got to give him props, and got to give the Browns organization props because they upgraded from Freddie Kitchens, who looked like he was out of his head trying to be the head coach last year, and they got Kevin Stefanski and changed the whole makeup of that team. And they're doing this all without Odell Beckham, who they lost a couple games ago. Baker's look good. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, are they the best running back duo in the league? I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Chubb is doing real good, and it seems like the Browns go as Chubb goes. So
the Browns just got to give him more goal line carries, man, because they tend to put Kareem Hunt in at the goal line. It's annoying as hell fantasy-wise, but Chubb has been running his ass off, and it helps so much that Baker can use the play action, bro, because that's when he has the advantage, especially when he's kind of on the move, like on the play action bootleg. He can throw a dime or two if it's one-on-one, and the receiver can just go up and get it. So the Browns, they're 9-3. They're doing their thing.
Yeah, shout out Browns. First time in how many years? It's a long time that they're going to have a winning record now that they got that 9th win. So shout out.
I like that game call, Roland. I think that's going to be awesome to look forward to.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The Bills and
COVID doesn't get in the way, but
Bills and Steelers on Sunday night is going to be really good as well. I think
that's another good one too. Yep.
Josh
Allen looks good.
Look forward to
looks like he's rebounding a little bit. I like
that. They were calling all the right plays that night against the 49ers. I mean, Cole Beasley had himself a day.
Cole Beasley put some respect.
He's had himself like a year right now.
Yeah, well, with Josh Allen, he's helped it's the perfect balance with him underneath and Diggs over the top, man. It's a really good balance.
He looked really. I mean, Cole Beasley was one of Dak's favorite targets while he was there, and it's just good to see him move from Dallas to Buffalo and still continue to do his thing out of the slot.
Pick it up, even.
Yep.
I bet.
All right, man. Well, let's get into some UFC, bro. I know we haven't talked UFC in a while on the podcast. We had the contest going. We put it up. We put the contest back up this week. This is the last pay-per-view of the year. This is the last fight card of the year. So the contest will be wrapping up. Justin also made it juicy, man. He added some shit so y'all could catch up to me. Methods of victory, who's going to win in prelims. Not only the 5 main event fights that we're going to talk about right now. Not main event, but main card fights that we're going to talk about. But the links are out. We will tweet them out again and post them on Facebook. I'll post it also. But yeah, last one of the year. Let's get into it. UFC 256, Figueiredo versus Moreno. The curtain jerker for this one, for the pay-per-view. In the heavyweight division, we got a popular name, I guess you could say, a vet. Junior Seganu, Junior Dos Santos, 21-8, against Cyril Bon Gaiman Gane, 6-0. Gane is a -420 favorite in this fight. So big favorite. Gane We know a training partner of Francis Ngannou. We've mentioned it before on the podcast. JDS, we know that he's held gold in that division, beating Cain Velasquez on that first ever Fox card that he knocked him out in the first round, like first couple 20 seconds into the fight. But times have changed. He's a lot older, and he's on a 3-fight win streak, all by TKO, man. Does this fight excite you all at all? Do you all, what do you all think?
I get excited every time I see heavyweights get into the octagon personally, just because there's always a chance of, just one shot knocking somebody out and going down. That seems to happen the most in the heavyweight division. You add in the fact that you do have a household name for most MMA fans and JDS. So yeah, I'm excited about this fight. It's on a pay-per-view for a reason. JDS is on a 3-fight losing streak, as Ben just mentioned, all in kind of brutal fashion. And he's coming up against this guy that I honestly, I don't know too much more than kind of what we've talked about already. He's a training partner with Francis Ngannou, and he's a big boy. So are we giving out our picks yet, or we're just talking about excitement?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can just go on who. Yeah, you can go.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to ramble on for 5 minutes.
For sure. I'm gonna go with the household name. Crazier things have happened. Give me JDS in this fight.
And he's around +3 some. I didn't have the exact line today, but he's around +3 some. So I mean, big underdog right there. Definitely a very big step up for Cyril Gane as far as competition wise. And those losses, we did say that he's coming off 3 losses, but we're talking about Jorginho Rosenstrike, Curtis Blades, and Francis Ngannou. We're talking about top 5 in the division.
Yeah.
So is Gane going to take that big leap? Does he deserve the -420 price? Justin, what are your thoughts?
Excited about this fight. Like Roland said, whenever heavyweights fight, it's exciting, especially strikers. I don't get excited for Curtis Blades, because it's going to be ground and pound all day. But
he knocked out JDS. He TKO'd JDS.
But I'm just saying, guys like that, I don't get excited for.
All right.
JDS, I am. Someone's going to go to sleep here.
He just got
surprised at the odds. I'm surprised at the odds here. Give me JDS. Just because I know the name. He's fought the who's, and this guy, I'm looking at his history, and I don't see a name I know.
Hey, well, you know what? His training partner beat the shit out of JDS, so he's going to beat the shit out of JDS. And listen, there's a reason I'm number 1 in this fucking competition, bro. Both of y'all went JDS. I'm going Gane, and it's going to be like, yo, what the fuck was that? We're going to come back next week, and y'all are going to be talking about JDS retiring. That's what we're going to be talking about. All right. Next up, a good fight in the middleweight division. Kevin Trailblazer Holland, who was supposed to be fighting Jack Hermanson last week, but got pulled due to COVID reasons, so gets rebooked against Marvin Vittori's old opponent, Jacare Souza. We'll talk about that Vittori fight after we recap this, because we're fans of Marvin Vittori on this podcast. But here we got Kevin Trailblazer Holland -105 with a 20-5 record against Ronaldo Jacare Souza. Jacare Souza, yeah, 26-8, and he's -125. This line has moved. Holland opened up as a favorite at like -125. Now Jacare is -125. Holland he's on a 4-fight win streak, and it seems like all those 4 fights are during COVID, bro. This guy has been active. He's been very active, fighting as much as he can. Jacare, 41 years old. Kevin Holland, 13 years younger than him. So 41 minus 13. Roland, you're the math guy on this podcast, bro. I don't know. He's 27, 28. He's substantially younger, quicker, more fluid striking, more explosive. Jacare just seems older, and if he doesn't get this fight to the ground, he's going to get finished. I'm not going to take too much time on this, and this line I definitely don't agree with. I like Kevin Holland a lot. I think he's feeling himself. Like I said, he has 3 or 4 wins in 2020. This is just the cherry on top for 2020. Give me Kevin Holland here at -105.
Yeah, maybe this were a couple of years ago, I might have gone the other way and gone with Jacare, just based on kind of what he's already done in the UFC. But Ben said on all the key topics, or all the key points for Holland. I mean, he's a guy that's on the up and up. He's a guy that the UFC wants to push. He has a personality. He does well in interviews. He's always getting a lot of attention from what he's coming out and saying on the mic. And he comes through and he performs in the octagon. I mean, he's one of the better strikers that I've seen rise up in the middleweight division the past few years. So I think he's going to get it done. And he's going to take out Jacare Souza.
Yeah, give me Kevin Holland. I feel like he's on to something lately. He's been pretty active. And I don't know if you saw his last win, the submission slam. That was pretty nice against Silva.
Unanimous. Unanimous.
Yeah, and then and he's also a striker.
If Kevin Holland loses this fight, do y'all remember earlier in the year when Roosevelt Roberts fought Jim Miller?
Yep.
And we were on Roosevelt Roberts because he was like turning around and fighting like 2 or 3 weeks after he had just beaten the shit out of somebody. And we said the only way Jim Miller wins is by submission. And then like a minute 45 into the first round, fucking dry as hell, Jim Miller catches a submission. I feel like that's Jacare's only chance as well, bro. It's first round or bust for Jacare as far as getting the sub. Once they get sweaty and it's going to be bad news. So I like Kevin Holland. I'm going to say by decision. I think that he just keeps his distance, pieces up Jacare. Like I said, Jacare is older. He doesn't throw combinations. He tries timing that one punch, whether it's the left or the right hook.
Did you say you couldn't wait for them to get sweaty?
No, I said Jacare doesn't have a chance if they get sweaty.
Okay,
Roland, pause, bro, pause. What the fuck? Kevin Holland, bro. Kevin Holland's gonna beat the fuck out of Jacare. Consensus. Our last consensus for the year. Can we agree on that as a team right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Our last consensus for the year: Kevin Holland minus 105. That's a
official play.
Official
parlay.
If he loses, we'll figure out what.
If he loses, Ben forfeits his #1 spot.
Nah, not for this has nothing to do with fantasy football, bro. This has nothing.
No, I'm talking about your fantasy. Aren't you #1 in the pick'em right now?
Oh, okay. Deal. I'll forfeit my #1 spot if he loses. 100%. I'm down with that. That's a good proposition.
Wow. He's putting it all out there.
I'm putting it all on the Trailblazer, baby. And I ain't talking about Dame Lillard, Wally Garza. All right. Next up in the lightweight division, we got Renato Moicano. 14-3-1, coming in as a plus 130 dog against Rafael Ataman Fizlev. 8-1, minus 185 favorite. Moicano's been around. He's fought Aldo. He's fought Korean Zombie. He's fought really good competition.
There was a time where we thought he was the next best featherweight.
I thought he was going to beat Jose Aldo, fam. Did he fight Max Holloway or did he not?
I don't remember.
There was a time where everyone thought this is the future of featherweight.
Well, I mean, he's been finished. He's been finished by Aldo and he's been finished by the Korean Zombie.
And Ortega finished him first.
Ortega finished him as well. Damn. Well, he's coming in off a win. His last fight he won by sub against Damir Hadzovic. Sounds like a Russian to me.
Probably
Probably
a Serbian, bro.
Serbian? All right. Well, you know what? You know what country he's fighting the guy from this time around?
Kazakhstan.
The home of the Borat. Kazakhstan. Very nice. How much? Hey, he's fighting Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev, like I said, home of Borat. He's from Kazakhstan, baby. And he looks promising. His last fight killed it. He's got good stand-up. This dude's a national champ in Sambo. I mean, he's skilled. He's technical. He's fast. He's quick. He's in the matrix. He's going to fuck Moicano up is what's going to happen.
Oh, that one move he did where he's like, just
Yeah.
backed up off of
Yeah.
crazy looking move.
Let's just keep it standing up. And Fiziev, it's going to be a walk in the park, baby. Give me Fiziev here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But Moicano, like I said, when he's fought tough guys, he's folded, man, bro. I think that if you hit him hard one time, he's going to fold. And I think Fiziev is going to get him.
Give me the man out of Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Here.
Same, Just?
Same here.
Damn it, boy. Unanimous again. Just kidding. Oh shit! The lightweight fight, that the co-main that should have been the main. The reason for my freaking screen name tonight on the podcast: Tony El Cucuy Ferguson, 25-4, -175 favorite against Charles. I do like this nickname, Du Bronx Oliveira, 29-8. Coming in as a +140 underdog. What are y'all's thoughts on this fight?
A little bit of a big big dog. I think it should be lined
You
up.
think the line is steep for the way Ferguson says you're only as good as your last fight, and Ferguson didn't look very. Let me ask y'all something. Coming into this fight, do you all think that fight against Gaethje took a lot out of Tony Ferguson's career?
Yes and no.
Roland, yes and no.
I'm saying yes and no because yes and no because he did take some shots in that fight, but I think it's more attributable to what the buildup to that fight, man. He was supposed to have been fighting Khabib. He decided to hold weight. He stayed at his fighting weight for God knows how long. Yep. There's a lot of stress on the body going into that fight. I think more than anything, he went into that fight kind of gassed. I thought people thought that might have been an advantage for him being at that weight for so long, but I think he was drained.
Going on at that time also. UFC was the only sport. Tony Ferguson brought back sports in Corona. In the Corona period, UFC was brought back because Tony Ferguson said, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and wait for Khabib. I'm gonna fight Gaethje. I'm gonna make weight twice.
And I think we gotta. Yeah, you said make weight twice, and I think we got to avoid a recency bias. We can't let the last thing that we saw on Tony Ferguson affect the way that we look at this fight. And I think Vegas is agreeing with us though, because I agree with the line. I think the line should be the way that it is. I think Charles Oliveira. I think he's a respectable fighter. He's fought pretty much a who's who in the division.
He's coming in off a win against Kennedy, an opponent that Tony Ferguson beat for the interim title.
He's on a good streak, but I'm more upset that this fight isn't Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler. I don't know if the UFC is hiding Michael Chandler or something.
Michael Chandler said he wasn't ready because he made weight as a backup fighter for Gaethje against Khabib, so he didn't want to have to make weight again.
Okay,
in that short of a time. Because he's not cut from the same cloth as Tony Ferguson.
And that's the thing too. I take Tony Ferguson's side in that situation. I'm a Tony Ferguson fan. But
Roland, talk about your transition from not liking Ferguson to liking Ferguson.
Look, it's been a little while since I haven't.
No, I agree. But what was it that flipped you? Is it because he's out there?
I just fell in love. I just fell in love with him being out there. At first, I thought the whole the Oakleys that he was wearing were a little bit cringe.
They're Folkleys.
That was my primary reason for not really liking him. He was just walking out there wearing Folkleys, but then he comes out and he does like breakdancing. He has all these unorthodox training methods. He loves playing baseball. He trains playing baseball sometimes. Like I like everything about El Cucuy. He's out there, like Ben said. He said, hey, I'm not waiting around for Khabib. I'm not going to wait around for him. And this title shot that I've been waiting for my whole career to unify that interim championship. He didn't wait around when he rightfully could have. And he came back and fought. And he just got the other side of the stick. That's what happens when you take risks. You hear it when people take
he's been getting that other side of the stick his whole career, fam. We've never heard of somebody on a 12-fight win streak in the division never fighting for the real belt.
I just
and
love
Charles Oliveira is on a 7-fight win streak in the division.
I love the way that Tony Ferguson talks. He doesn't mince his words. He says exactly what's on his mind. He's not trying to be Dana's boy, even though the amount of times that he stepped up, he should very well be Dana's boy, for sure.
Very well put.
Just the way that Dana looks out for Max Holloway, he should be looking out for Tony Ferguson in the same light.
He brought back UFC during COVID, and he's the last pay-per-view of the year. Listen, if Davison Figueiredo and Moreno were headlining that by itself, let's be real.
We wouldn't even be talking about this right now.
Let's be real. This Ferguson and Oliveira fight should be the main event. The fact is that the interim title belt isn't on the line. That's just what it comes down to. Because if that title was on the line, this would be the main event. But Justin, your thoughts on the fight?
Just don't like the line. Think it should be a little closer. I'm always going to go for Kukui. That's my guy. But this is going to be a tough fight for him, I believe. I do think the Gaethje fight took a little bit off of him.
You do.
But Ferguson can come back like no other. Remember that ACL or whatever that was? That was a 3-month rehab.
Is he older now that he has a shaved head, or is it just the shaved head that makes him look that old? Because he looks like he aged since that last fight. And I'm Kukui to the core, baby. But he looks old.
We'll find out Saturday night. But as far as my money, it's going on Kukui.
You're on Kukui. And listen, I'm not going to pick against him, but I think that this is a dangerous matchup. I think that this is the first fight where he doesn't have the advantage on the ground. I think that this fight has to take place standing up. I think that he's got to get creative with his strikes like he usually is. But if we're talking about Charles Oliveira, the guy who has the most submissions in UFC history. He's tied with Donald Cerrone for the most finishes in UFC history. He's got the most performance bonuses in UFC history. He's riding a 7-fight win streak, which are all finishes in this division since moving up. This is a good fucking fight.
It is.
This is a fight that's not going to last long. I'm not sure what the over-under is on this fight. I don't agree with the odds. I think it should be closer to pick'em based off of what we saw from Ferguson last fight, but I'm not going to pick against it. I might take a friendly wager with somebody, but I'm not going to pick against. I'm on his side, but I also wouldn't be placing my money on Tony Ferguson this weekend. I think that there is value on Oliveira and the way that he's looked in that 7-fight win streak at plus 140.
Give me Kukui, baby.
Well, we all got El Kukui, but we're all picking with our hearts on that one. We're all taking the Justin route on that one. That's.
Oh, sir! I said my money will be on Kukui.
I took El Kukui at like minus 150 a couple months ago when the line came out. A couple weeks ago. Yeah,
oh, all right.
I got it like at 150.
Well, you got the better line. Shout out to you. You hit that CLV. Now he's just got to get the job done, baby.
Let's do it, baby.
All right, let's get to the main event. The quickest turnaround in title fight history.
He's not going to Brazil.
Davison in the flyweight division. Davison Dios de Guerra Figueiredo, 20-1, the champ, minus 335. So steeper than 3-1 favorite against Brandon, the assassin baby Moreno, 18-5-1 plus 250. Shout out Brandon Moreno, the first ever Mexican-born fighter to be challenging for a UFC title. Cain Velasquez was Mexican, but not born in Mexico. Brandon Moreno is.
Nice little distinction. I like that.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference. That's why he's the first ever. Shout out to him too, man. Deserving because he's grinded for this.
People were saying that he wasn't deserving. I saw that argument taking place when this fight first started getting announced.
Listen, the props that we're giving Davison Figueiredo for turning around in 20-something days, beating Ronda Rousey's record of 50s. I have it written 54 days. Ronda Rousey had turned around and defended her title. Davison Figueiredo is doing it in under a month. Brandon Moreno was on that same card that Davison Figueiredo fought on last month. Davison Figueiredo there's one pay-per-view a month. Davison Figueiredo headlined November's pay-per-view, and he's headlining December's pay-per-view. So, yeah, he's getting that money, and this is a division that everybody thought was going to die when Triple C retired. Davison Figueiredo is finishing people.
Yeah, he's put some life back in it with his finishes for sure.
He's finishing. He's making it exciting. He's finishing people.
He slept Benavidez.
Just for notation, though.
He beat Benavidez twice.
Slept him twice.
Just for notation, Brandon Moreno was also on that card last month.
Yeah, that's what Ben was saying. Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I know you mentioned Davison, but I didn't hear you
I
say
said
Brandon.
just like we're giving him props.
Okay.
Brandon Moreno was also on that same card. So they're both turning around in the same amount of time, short camps. What do y'all think? Who do y'all like in this fight? Y'all siding with the champ? The odds are steep, but I mean, he's looked unstoppable.
I'm siding with the champ. I think he's got the heaviest hands in the division. Once he touches you, puts those paws on you, it's over. And I think he's shown some acumen on the ground too with some of his recent finishes. So I'm going Figueiredo here. I don't see a way for him to lose.
Justin?
I hate it, man. I hate it because I want Brandon Moreno to win. But I don't
see
see a path
in Mexico or no?
I want him to win more than anything, but I don't see it for him. Where's the path to victory for him?
I think the path to victory is Davis.
Not going to beat him on the ground.
Davis and Figueiredo has never been past the third round in any fight. This is a championship fight that has a fourth and a fifth round that he's never been in. This is a guy who is heavy in the division.
Yeah, he comes in like 143 on fight night.
Exactly, and this is 125 that we're talking about. So we're talking about almost 20 pounds heavier on fight night. In the fourth or fifth round, I could see him gasping for air. If Moreno can get it to the ground, listen, both of y'all went with Figueiredo. Do I think Figueiredo probably wins? Yeah, maybe, but I'm going to go with Echo in Mexico. I'm going to go with fuck it. When you're in the lead, you could do shit like this. Plus, my whole reputation relies on fucking Trailblazer Holland over here. So I'm just going to take dogs and hope the Trailblazer fucking keeps me afloat, baby.
We got one for the baby assassin here.
No, not the baby assassin. The assassin
baby,
which is a terrible fucking nickname. Terrible. But yeah, that wraps up 256. Where are y'all gonna be watching it? I know I got a buddy driving into town Saturday to watch it here at the house. We're cooking out.
Yeah, probably end up seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, I threw the invite to Roland earlier. Oh, I mean, you know, you're always welcome, bro. We'll be keeping it chill here. Justin, what do you got planned?
I'll be here
bootlegging this shit
safely in my little COVID bubble.
Bootleg it, or you're gonna fucking pay for it?
Never pay.
I'm paying for it, Roland. Hey, when you come to my house, you watch it legit, baby. All right, we might split it 3 ways because ESPN Plus allows 3 users.
We don't have to worry about the feds coming through.
It might be 20 a pop. It might be 20 a pop, but we're gonna watch.
Really? They allow 3 users.
They allow 3 users.
Justin's gonna have a knock on his door one of these days.
I got a big 3. I got a big 3 over here, cuz.
Who are you splitting with?
Me and my boy Rexa. All the way to San Diego.
Rex is solid.
And well, we're actually splitting it 2 ways because one time that I went to the Valley, I logged in at Ron's garage and the motherfucker never logged off. So every time there's a pay-per-view, he just turns it on.
Turn it on.
Yeah, shout out Ron, but I know what you're doing, cuz you're lucky I love you. Hey, but just to talk about last week's main event a little bit, because I know we talked about Marvin Vettori and the way that a lot of people have been ducking him recently. We're a fan of him here on this podcast. We like his character. We like how wild he is. Did you all catch the fight? And if you did, what did you think? What were your thoughts going in? And how did it play out the way you thought?
No, I didn't think he was to be as dominant as it went. I thought it would be a little closer. I got a lot of respect for Jack Hermanson.
Same.
I thought it was
sorry
close.
Put it on.
Yeah, I didn't see it going that way. I was on Hermanson.
I thought it was close.
It wasn't close to the judges, 49-46.
Yeah, they were tripping.
We have a shout out of Vettori though. He capitalized on his opportunity, taking the fight on short notice, and he puts himself in the conversation. That's what you want to do at the end of the day.
Yeah. They're saying if Kevin Holland wins, Kevin Holland against Vettori.
I like that. Kind of an eliminator.
Winner would be up there for a title shot.
For sure.
So another thing, do you think that the winner of Ferguson and Oliveira fights the winner of McGregor and Poirier for the belt? Or does Dana pull a quick one on us and McGregor fights next month? Does he make that McGregor and Poirier fight for the interim title?
I could see it being the interim.
But you don't think he would have announced it already?
That would have probably been announced.
True. Okay. Well, then I could see the latter being the case, or not the latter. What you
Seems like with McGregor, you don't even need the title to sell the fight, right? So
No, you don't.
That's why I'm saying that you would think naturally he would just throw it in because McGregor's fighting. It's going to be a main event. Usually main events are title fights on pay-per-views, da-da-da-da-da. But you would think he would have done it by now.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean,
and if all of this happens, where does it leave Camarada, who just signed from Bellator? Roland mentioned him earlier.
He's got to fight first.
And does he fight Gaethje? Where does that leave Gaethje?
Maybe a lightweight tournament.
That's the only thing that I can think of.
I mean, it seems like the tournament already started with Ferguson against Oliveira and McGregor against
started.
But does the winner fight for the title? And do they leave Gaethje out?
How they do it?
It's tricky. That 155 division, bro, is a motherfucker, bro. That's tough. It's tough at 155. And that's what Carlos Ferreira is. And we're a big fan of Carlos Ferreira on this podcast. I know he recently lined up a fight against Benil Dariush. I believe it's in February. And I mean, we're talking about 2 top 10 guys going at it right there. And we're talking about top 5 tournament right here. So he's not that far out either, bro.
No, he's not. He's within striking distance for sure. No pun intended.
So last week, what we talked about was the cuts the UFC has decided to start making.
Who else got cut?
Names. Joel was cut last week. This week, the big name was Rachel Ostovich, my girl.
Oh, well.
UFC. So my thing is, if Jacare loses this fight, could he be potentially get cut from this UFC?
I think we're going to see a lot of these legacy acts get cut because the UFC can't
Anderson Silva as well.
Can't be shelling out money
cut
for those guys to keep on losing.
Yeah, bro.
Anybody else on this card that you can see that they don't win, they're cut?
JDS.
Okay.
Yeah, JDS for sure.
If he loses 4 in a row by finish, I mean, what's left?
What about Ovens? Last week he didn't win. You think he's up also on the?
I don't think so because he always steps up for the UFC. He does fight a lot of times during the year. I think that he's a solid guy that they could count on. Kind of has a name, kind of like not necessarily a gatekeeper, but
he's a household name, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know about a household name.
He's a household name.
He's not a household name.
Yes, OSP is a household name.
If Christian Wood's not a household name,
let's end it there.
For this week, man. Roland, come through this weekend, bro. We're gonna
Anthony Johnson's gone.
Oh, Bellator, yeah.
Anthony Johnson to Bellator. Big news. Does Bellator sign Yoel and have Yoel fight Anthony Johnson at 205?
They got to do that fight. That makes too much sense not to happen.
I'm not saying for the belt. I'm saying have them fight. Who wouldn't want to see Yoel against Anthony Johnson?
And the winner gets the belt shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I see that. Bellator needs to do something to compete.
Those two guys need to fight, bro, because they're both freaks in different ways.
You like those freaks?
Let's pause on that one.
Yeah. All right, we out.
All right, well, that's episode 27, guys. It was good to be back again.
27.
I know Ben doesn't care, but I do. I look at this. Last week we had a good amount of viewership on Facebook. Really do appreciate that. It's one of our best podcasts to date. That was pretty cool.
I know I say I don't care, bro, because I always look forward to Thursdays because I know that we're gonna bullshit and talk about sports and it's kind of way of venting. So I don't care if people watch.
With that being said, get ready for the ads. The commercials are coming, guys.
It was anticipated, Roland. Yeah. We all said we had people hitting us up. When's the next podcast? And it seems like it was anticipated.
So with that said, let me bring you a word from our sponsor.
So we all got shoe deals. Anyway, I just want a little appreciation time for everybody who watched and everybody who shared and everybody who was active this week on the Facebook page because we were putting out some memes and I liked the back and forth with some of y'all. Someone did roast me, but it's all good. Diego got me one of those. So.
And we'll go over some EPL next episode. The fixtures are set. I believe it's around a 16 or 8, but we'll talk about that as well.
Yep.
Maybe even have him on if he wants to talk a little bit about it.
Nah, I don't know.
That's it. That's a wrap.
If the Steelers lose, he won't fucking come on.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to beat the Bills first. And then he can come on.
All right, got it.
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap man, like she scored 30.
We talking about sports. I mean, what we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.